summer, while taping some programming for the chapter of MATS at St. Bonaventure University, we were led straight into the heart of the enchanted mountains of western New York.
I find us all living very busy lives, and rather than offering people a place that was programmed for retreats, it seemed to be in a retreat environment, or an environment for prayer with a family base, was what people were really needing.
Okay, now can you tell me the reason for the name? Is it for Father Irenaeus?
It is, yeah. Father Irenaeus and I talked about this as early as 1972, and just the year before he died, I spoke to him about how the project was going and how we were moving towards finding a place. And after dinner one night over coffee, I said to him, by the way, Father, we'd like to name the place after you. His spirit of prayer, his gentleness, his kindness to people over the year, his hospitality at the university was a lot of what we want to capture in our life here. And his name means peace, or peaceful, which again is the spirit of our place.
Now, I understand the mountains surrounding here are called the Enchanted Mountains. Now, do you feel that there's an almost magic quality in the solitude here, and maybe that could be the reason why you've chosen this place?
In many ways, we looked maybe at 50 or 60 different locations through the southern tier, and Joe Duino, a member of our province, one of the friars, has said many times that the quiet up here is blessed, that it's a blessed silence, and I think that's true. I think it inspires awe. There's a gentleness in the forests and in the woods, and comfort even in the darkness and the pines that I think is sort of enchanted. It inspires people to feel more comfortable about some things that are sometimes scary or distant, and helps us draw nearer to some things that are difficult and challenging in our lives. And I think it makes solitude comfortable here and sort of enchanting. I suppose that's applicable.
Now, Dan, do you live here alone, or are there other friars that live here with you?
In the summertime, we have a community of 4 of us, so we offer, by way of a core community, something similar to the way of life of hermits, where some of us take turns acting as mothers for the others and inviting people into that too. So our core community of friars quickly opens up to our guests by way of being a family. During the school year, campus ministers on the team, the sisters and friars there, join with me as community members here, and students also minister here. It's very exciting to see the growth of lay ministry through Mount Irenaus. There's a group of 20 students that are very actively involved in making this a good place for other people, and area adults groups from Renew, from local parishes that minister here. During the year, though, about 8 months still at this time, we don't have anybody residing here, except for myself 3 or 4 days a week, and the rest of the time at the university.
Now, is it only Franciscans that come here, or are there other people?
Great diversity of people come here,
Really?
And non-Catholics as well. A local pastor was up the other day with his associate for a day of prayer as they enter into their ministry with one another. Group of women from area Methodist and Lutheran churches a week ago. Friars are coming here more frequently. Sisters have been here. There's a Poor Clare here on retreat right now. So we have a variety of different sisters who are finding this a good prayer place for themselves. Students to a great number. Last year we had well over 400 Bonaventure students here, but students from Geneseo State and other young people who are hearing about the place. I'm finding it a great place for vocational discernment. So with the vocation group on campus, those young people, men and women, are taking a great deal of advantage of the place, again for their own reflection, for an experience of community, a place of common prayer, but individual prayer. So a great breadth of people are coming here, and people geographically from New York, Boston, Maryland, Buffalo, Rochester, all over. The Franciscan Institute at the university, of course, brings in a lot of international students. So if you look at our guest book, you'll see names from Australia, Africa, India, Asia, etc. And
fabulous.
That is by way of the Institute primarily, and they take advantage of the place a great deal.
Now, what would a typical day be like here? What would go on?
Okay, we offer morning prayer at 8 o'clock, and we invite our guests to get rest as they wish. And the next time that we really gather formally would be, and it's fairly informal, would be either Eucharist at 5:15 or dinner first and Eucharist at 7:15. Our Mass time varies with the day of the week. And then we usually have night prayer at 9:30 or 10 o'clock. leaving then a lot of the day open for people's own plans. If they want to rest, if they want to read, if they want to walk, if they want to talk, be quiet out of the house, out on the hillside or in the house. So there's not a lot of planned. There's not a lot scheduled, so to speak.
Which in a lot of ways is good because people have such tight schedules at home. To have the chance to break away from that is probably very refreshing.
Yeah, it really is. Well, we find business people occasionally coming here. A priest began a sabbatical here, a priest from the Rochester Diocese, and one of the things he found most refreshing was that when the phone rang, which is occasionally, it wasn't for him. He was free of that. He could get away from a ringing phone altogether. He was somewhere where people let him take his day as he wished. So if he wanted to be with us at prayer, he could be. If he wanted to be off by himself that day in particular, he could. We try to invite that sort of pattern so that people go out into solitude, take a full day if they want, alone, or join us for prayers and meals. This past May, we had a friar from Costa Rica staying by himself over in Sunrise, one of the cabins here, and he would join us just for Mass and dinner, very sociable man who then took the rest of the day all by himself. And a friar, Dan Salmasi, who was one of our friars from Silver Spring, Dan was out in the woods the same week in a tent. And he would join us again for Mass and dinner and then be out in the woods the whole week. And it was a rainy week and he found it delightful. So there's a sense in which people who are very gregarious come here to get away and yet have a sense of belonging to the core community while they're here.
Now, have you gotten a lot of feedback from people who have visited here? I mean, is it positive for the most part?
It is, and it's exciting. In fact, the group that work with me in planning the mountain are some friars, a good number of lay people, and a Franciscan sister, and a few students act as advisors. And in our first year or two, we've been here since '84, we became very aware that we had to plan to limit our growth and not go beyond both what the land could handle and what our family-sized retreat or prayer community could handle, because we don't want to become too large, and there was so much enthusiasm for it early on that we could clearly go into the American direction of expand, expand, expand. So there's been a lot of good feedback from all age groups too. We've had elderly here, young, small families.
That's nice.